The Improved Production Racing Association of Victoria is proudly supported by Prestige Hino, Australia's most awarded Hino dealer. ProCut Tree Services, Melbourne's most trusted for tree and stump removals. Reach Rock Art for all your waterscape needs. DLL Photography and Design, complete website and e-commerce solutions. And Traction Tyres and Yokohama Motorsport, performance and safety for road or race.
Hello everybody. After a 3-month hiatus since our last round at Phillip Island in May, we're back to Sandown for round 4 of this year's Improved Production Club Championship for 2023. And we return to a venue where for some drivers earlier in the year it was a bit of a happy hunting ground for them. Danny Timewell took his first round win and his first win overall in a race here in February. And he returns in a car that's full of confidence that he can push Luke Gretsch-Cumbo to the limit this season. But for Danny, it means he's playing second fiddle in the championship right now, so he'll be looking to try and arrest some of that momentum that Luke's had over the last couple of rounds and claw back some valuable points. And with the weather the way that it is at the moment, you never know what's going to be in store across this weekend's 3 races. So hopefully we're in for a good show. So qualifying this morning was a tale of 2 halves with a red flag in the middle, and on the other side of the qualifying session, coming out with the pole, is Danny Timewell and his Prestige Hino back VF Commodore. And Danny, the big story for you in that session was traffic. Once you got clear of it, you set 2 quick laps and it was enough to take pole.
Yeah, we were very pleased with the way the car was set up. Yeah, traffic was a problem, but you know, everyone's got to deal with it. And even on the fastest lap, which was the last one, we still had to pass a lot of cars. And you know, the boys did a really good job on the setup. They made some changes to it this morning before we went out, and you know, put it on pole is great, but you know, it's still the rest of the weekend, which is where it really matters.
That's absolutely right. It's 3/10 on Jared in pole in qualifying. It's not a huge margin, but you're right. They don't pay points for qualifying. They pay points for the racing. But everybody seemed to be struggling a little bit. We did have a little rain shower just before quali, and it was a little bit greasy. It took time for everybody's times to really show.
Yeah, the track was definitely greasy, particularly in that, as you said, the first part of the session before the red flag. But after that, the track did get a little bit better, but it was still nowhere near optimum. You know, it was very sketchy, but we just, you know, sort of threw caution to the wind on that last lap and thought we'll just have a go and see where we end up.
In for his first round of 2023 is Jared Tonks, who showed some great speed last year, but on top of that, he's put on the front row for the first time this year. And Jared, the 18 you thought might have been enough until you got pipped by Danny at the last split second.
Yeah, I was probably thinking 18 was enough, and but I was having a bit of temperature issues after the red flag from sitting in pit lane for a bit. So no, Danny did well in the conditions and good job getting pole.
Now, importantly, it's your first round for the year. From what we heard, you hurt the motor pretty badly when you were at the support act for the Bathurst 12 Hour earlier in the year, and it's been a bit of an effort to get the car turned around in time.
Yeah, we did. We went up to Bathurst. It was a bucket list item for me to get up there and go around, and didn't end up too well. Yeah, hurt the engine internally pretty bad. Lost oil pressure. So, and then to get parts is from America's now, for a crank, it's nearly 12 months. So this is the old engine that come out that I ran at the start of last year. So yeah, it's been an effort just to get that back in, and yeah, made it in time for round 4. Better late than never.
Another Ford in the field this weekend, having a debut run for the very, very first time. Very, very green to not just the category, but to circuit racing as well, as Andre Noy. And Andre, your EL Falcon held up all right in that first race.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with the result and how the car held up. So, yeah, for the first hit out, yeah.
So it's basically a bone stock XR6 underneath, from what we're told?
Yeah. So it started its life as a XR6. I've put the standard front back on it because I'm eventually down the track going to change the look of the car. So, yeah, standard EL XR6 with a cage and a few little bits and pieces. It's got a 4-litre barrier in it, so that helps for the straights.
Yes, certainly does. It keeps you sort of in line with some of your other Falcon counterparts. They've got the barrier under as well, but just a little bit of a different look and feel, which is always great to see in the category.
Yeah, no, it's good. Talking to the other guys in the category that are also running the Falcons, it's good to get some pointers off them and set up all that sort of stuff. So they've been really helpful.
So as always, in improved production, there's plenty of newcomers to the category. Another one for this weekend is Scott McLean, who brings a VX Commodore with him. And Scott, you've had a very interesting first race with a couple of spins, but you came home.
I came home, car didn't hit anything, it was straight, so I call that a win.
Well, we call that the Monty Python strategy. Always look on the bright side of life, I think, don't we?
Absolutely. I saw everything. It was just crazy, but I really enjoyed it. The drivers were amazingly respectful, and it was great fun. Can't wait to do it again.
Well, we've got to do it again tomorrow, but speaking of looking on the bright side of life, you've actually got a rather interesting story about how you've actually managed to get here in the first place. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so basically 13 years ago, I had a bad snowboarding injury, which actually left me paraplegic. So my spinal cord was cut, couldn't feel my legs, and they said, you're not going to walk again, and you won't fortunately have kids or anything like that. So I was pretty bleak at the time, but I was a pretty determined kind of guy, and I'm a very sporty guy in life. And I thought, well, what sport can I do and find a way to get life back? And motorsport was my focus. So I thought, okay, let's try and get healthy, see what I can do. And started walking again and see if I can do that, what else can I do? And then I've taken steps, periodically talked to as many people as I can, how do I get into it? And eventually, finally put money where mouth is, got a car, and here we are. Finally got on the grid. So I think it's amazing just to get here, success for me.
So Grant, you're having a really, really good run in the XR5 for a change. You were 7th in the dry yesterday in race 1, and in the damp today you ended up 5th. So this is really turning out to be a nice weekend for you.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic weekend. The car's going really good. The weather's sort of helped me a little bit, cooler, denser air, and the big V8 blokes have a bit more trouble getting their power down when it's damp. Yeah, car's going great. Enjoying every bit of it.
Another one of the newcomers to the category this weekend, and from Benellaway, is Paul Cornell, and he's got Kev Stoopman's old WRX, which you've had for a couple of years, and wasn't too bad of a rocket ship there in the wet for a moment off the line.
No, she's pretty good off the line, but unfortunately I came off at turn 2 a couple of laps in, but it was good fun anyway.
Yeah, it's similar to, we've seen a couple of cars that have been in IP in the past. In the wet, they just got that little bit of a sweet spot. If you launch them in the wet, they do really well, and you just sort of came off the road with potentially some tyre pressures that were less than optimal.
Yeah, I reckon I was a couple of pound down, so yeah, next time, a bit more.
Overall for the weekend so far, how are you finding it?
Oh, absolutely loving it. Loving the group, loving the drivers out there. Everyone's good, courteous. It's good fun, really good fun. Good mix of cars, so yeah. And the people are so nice, so yeah, no, it's good.
So Brad, you've been in the category for about 1.5 or so seasons now. You started out a bit slowly. It's starting to get your head around things. How are you finding it?
Yeah, look, it's all coming together. Yesterday I did a 32.3, which is the quickest time I've ever done around here in the car. Look, it's all really just starting to gel. You know, I've learned how to drive the thing, and now I just drive it like I stole it.
That's probably the smart way. Once you get your confidence in the car, you just sort of try and put your foot down and go a little bit quicker here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, I know when it's about to kill me, so I know when to back out of it.
Oh, that's a smart way to think about it. And important things, you've actually got another build in progress, so you're going to put the EA Falcon away at some point and you're going to switch over to the new one. Tell us a bit about what's going on.
Yeah, well, the FG came up like out of, like a mate was moving over to Vanuatu and he had all these FGs in his front yard. And I said to him, what are you doing with the cars? He goes, well, they've all got to go. I said, well, one's going to my place. Yeah, I'll just slowly start to convert it from a taxi to a race car. It's almost ready for cage. Just got a few other things to do. Like it was supplied with the wrong pedal box, so I've got an FG pedal box for it now, and auto and all that's still in it. So all that's still got to come out and that. And, yeah, so it's just a matter of just getting the dollars together to take it down to Portland to get the cage done.
Our winner in under 2 litres for the round is Peter McLean. And Pete, I know there's not as many cars out here in under 2s as we normally like to see, but you're going to take a win in a round when you take a win.
Yeah, well, I've got a few this year and I don't really feel I deserve them, but you just take them, and I suppose we just need a few more 2-litre cars on the grid.
Yeah, I suppose that is the ultimate answer, isn't it? I know there's a few cars that are still in build and a couple, hopefully, that'll come back in over hopefully the next couple of rounds. But for the moment, you've been driving pretty well. You've had a really good, solid start to when you started in this category, and you've just been improving round on round.
Yeah, just keeping it consistent and getting quicker sometimes, I hope. It was a bit of fun out there in the sort of greasy conditions this morning, and yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. Really good.
Third overall for the weekend in overs is Ian McLennan. And Ian, it'd been a bit of a difficult start to the weekend, but you bounced back pretty well and finished with some strong results today.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, had a couple of incidents on Friday that, wasn't ideal, but yeah, we got going on Saturday, started from 11th and then sort of worked our way up to 4th in race 1, so sort of started all right.
And then from there, 4th in race 1's become 4th in race 2 and eventually 3rd in race 3.
So I suppose, race 2 was good. It was pretty wet down there. So we had a couple of good battles with time well, really slippery conditions, but no, it was quite an enjoyable race. Had to be concentrating the whole time, and it's good everyone come off unscathed.
Second overall for the round is Damien Milano. And Damien, considering yesterday morning when you looked at the state of the track and thought, what have I done, when you saw it wet, 3 second place finishes for the weekend, I'd say it's a pretty good result.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. The changing conditions probably caught us out a bit on a couple of occasions, so we sort of weren't as prepared as we would have liked, but that's all right. We take second to the two boys that beat us on both occasions, Luke and I think they did well.
Yeah, they did extremely well. And you had a bit of fun there in the third race. You wagged the tail a couple of times coming out of Dandenong Road.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we were just starving for a bit of rear grip in that last one. It was nothing like the car I drove yesterday, so just a bit different to drive, so a bit more difficult for me, so just having a bit of fun.
First for the weekend overall in overs is Luke Gretchcumbo. And Luke, very much a championship picture round for you. A third in race 1 yesterday, 2 wins today. Puts you in a good position going into Phillip Island.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of it's a bit weird on the mind because I don't know if we've got one more round. Is it going to go to Calder? So there's a little bit of almost anxiety there, like if we're going to get the extra round or not. So it's kind of weird. It feels like it's almost done, but it may not be. So obviously we've got a lot of racing to do, and Danny's fast. That car of Danny's, I know they had a problem in that third race, reliability, but that car is fast and Danny's driving it really well. Damien's there, don't discount him. Macca's been quick, so I know Macca's not in the championship picture, but there's a lot of fast guys now. There's a lot of guys doing a really good job, so massive credit to those guys too.
And so with another club round in the books at Sandown for 2023, if you just want to introduce a little bit of water into some racing, you get some interesting results. Our next event is now on to Phillip Island at the end of September, the 23rd and 24th to be precise. Unfortunately, due to some prior commitments, there won't be any club video for that round, but we're hoping to bounce back for a final wrap-up at Calder Park in late October. Until then, please drive safely. We'll see you next time.